Zamira and Zenith TVs. The day quickly disappeared with the sun setting behind the rows of houses in their suburban neighborhood. The pinks and oranges that streaked the sky reminded Zeddy of that blazing neon pink that had filled the sky just after the loud noise. He was trying to piece a puzzle together, but he just wasn't sure what the puzzle was or if he even had all the pieces yet. Zeddy and his mom entered their house with caution, both nervous over whether or not Zane would be there. Neither knew what to expect. Zadie was the first to break the silence and call out, "Zane? Are you home, honey? If this is some kind of joke, it's not funny anymore. Please come out. Please be here." "Mom, you heard Nimue. Dad isn't here. He's in some place called Zamira. I've never heard of it. He's never mentioned it in any of his stories or in any of our talks, but Nimue did say we needed to find Professor Zachary Zenith. I wish I had a chance to ask Dad about his latest discoveries. Maybe this Zachary Zenith worked with Dad. I need to snoop around the internet and see if I can find out any information on him. Zeddy, you know how I feel about you doing things on the internet that might make the IG look into you. How do you plan to do that?" "Kids my age don't usually understand how to manipulate the internet like I do, Mom. Please don't worry. I can do it." "I trust you. I'm going to make some dinner. I'm really hungry now, and I think we could use a good meal before we go to bed. Tomorrow could turn out to be one long day," Zadie said, already feeling exhausted. "You said that right, Mom. I'll hurry up and see what I can find. Surely there has to be something on this professor somewhere. Wish me luck," Zadie announced as he headed towards the intel room. Zadie did not share her son's enthusiasm about the search for Professor Zenith. Miss Zitch, or Nimue, or whoever she was, had said that if they did not find the professor by tomorrow that the IG might reach him first. That didn't bode well for researching him on the intranet. She resigned herself to starting dinner and packing them both small duffel bags of clothes in case they could not come home once their trip began. That in itself was not a prospect Zadie wanted to consider. She took a deep breath and went to the kitchen to get started. Zeddy sat in front of a holographic monitor, focusing his eyes in deep concentration. He knew he could look this professor up without being detected. He just had to be nonchalant about it. But how to start? Zeddy thought about every scientific thing he could remember. He recalled that Nimue said that his father wasn't on this plane anymore, but that he was okay and on some place named Zamira. Could that be the loophole? He would start with Zamira. As he began speaking, the computer zipped through three-dimensional images in search of information on Zamira. To Zeddy's amazement, the computer actually found information. There wasn't much, only a paragraph and a blurry piece of some kind of star or something, but at least it was a place to start. Zeddy read it quickly and started a search on how pollution level trends in northern Amerasia affected the appearance of distant stars to make it seem that he was randomly searching pollution topics. Zeddy hurried to the kitchen while the computer was searching the intranet for information on the new topic. His mother looked up from her cooking to ask what he had found. Well, according to the data pulled from the intranet, Zamira is a part of the constellation Libra. It was discovered in 2010 by an astronomer named Zachary Zenith. That must be the same Zachary Zenith we're supposed to find. The craziest thing about it, though, is there wasn't any other real information. The computer had information about the astrological sign Libra and something about a type of television that was once made by a company called Zenith, but no other information on Zamira. So basically all we know is that this professor must be our way to find Dad, said Zeddy. I hope you're right, answered Zadie. Come on now and eat a bite. I don't know about you, but I could use a shower and some sleep after dinner. This worrying is exhausting. Zadie and Zeddy sat down at the little table and ate their dinner in silence. Both were tired and worried. The food was warm and filling, and the long summer day had finally surrendered to the night. The two weary souls finished their meals, cleaned their plates, and finished straightening up in the kitchen. Zeddy noticed the two duffel bags beside the kitchen door and drew a long sigh. He could only hope that the journey would one day lead them home again. Let's go get ready for bed, Zadie said as she put up the last dish. Zeddy looked at his mother thoughtfully, thinking of a way to ask the question that had been brewing in his mind since they left Nimue's house. What is it, Zeddy? I can see the wheels in your head turning. You're thinking so hard, Zadie said patiently. I was thinking about something Nimue said to me. Mom, are we free? Zeddy asked. Free? Where did that come from? I never heard Nimue mention anything about freedom, Zadie asked curiously. It's a long story about when she said it. I just don't understand what something she said means. Are we free, Mom? Zadie asked. You must be very careful where you ask a question like that, Zadie. Very careful. It's not safe to ask such questions where others might hear, Zadie whispered. Mom, why are you whispering? We're at home, Zadie said, completely confused at his mother's reaction. Zadie walked to the window and looked up and down the street. Zadie watched as his mother closed the curtains tightly. Then she walked into the Intel room and began to turn off monitors and computers. She left on the law update monitor as required by the IG, but slowly turned off the other ones. Zadie stood in the kitchen more confused than ever. As she walked into the hall and motioned for Zadie to follow her, Zadie rose from the table and followed her down the hall. Zadie opened his father's favorite book that always sat on a table in the hall. Inside the book was a key. Zadie put one finger to her lips, indicating that Zadie should not talk. She slid aside the giant tapestry that hung on the hall wall, revealing what looked like a part of the wall. Zadie firmly pressed the wall, and a panel broke loose. Zadie pushed the panel aside and slid the key into the lock of a thick steel door, opening it. In silent wonder, Zadie followed his mother through the door and started the descent down a steep, dark staircase.